Hello everyone, a warm welcome to you all. It's Penny here from Wales in the UK. Thank you for being here with me today. This is an intuitive landscape painting that I've been working on for quite a while now. It's on a recycled canvas that I picked up in a charity shop. It measures about 20 by 20 inches or 50 by 50 centimetres, kind of approximately. And I've called this the window of my soul. So I'm about to start here. I'm using some clear gesso just as a primer. And then after I've done that, I use some white acrylic paint mixed with some Payne's grey as my base colour. I did forget to do any mark making or scribbling this time. When I start something, I have no idea, where it's going to take me. So I am just playing and, just enjoying the process and putting down whatever I feel like putting down. Spraying some water there. And then I'm using a large-ish brush just for speed purposes more than anything else. And when that's dry, I've chosen some jelly prints with leaves and patterns on. So I'll cut those up and glue them down. Loving the colours there. I think as I go along, everything influences me, although after I'd put the gesso on there to blend the edges together, and I did some mark making here with my handmade stamps and some household items that I keep in my box. I couldn't find a way to move forward with it. So after I've done the mark making, I think this is one point where I leave it for quite a while because I'm really not sure what to do next. But that's how I tend to work, is I do tend to do a little bit and then move away from it, come back to it, whether it's a few days or an hour or a week. And when I come back to this, I decide that I want to put some paint on there. Again, just enjoying the process, just kind of playing and doing whatever I feel, going with the flow. So this is some phthalo blue here. Just spreading that around. Now I'm using some, I think that it's either black or Payne's grey, I'm not quite sure now, and I'm just using a round brush there to kind of roll it around the canvas. Then I use a palette knife and I move that around, just kind of playing and feeling my way around the canvas and just, playing really and experimenting. So I decided to use a mixture of blues. So I've got some ultramarine blue, some turquoise. I've actually got some light violet there and some black and white. I really like this effect. Kind of gives it some movement. feel as though I'm dancing around the page, around the canvas. Loving the colours and the marks. So now I'm going to do some splattering. So that's a little bit of Arteza Raspberry Red. Then I've got the Liquid-X Gold. And I use Daler and Rowney Silver and a Liquid-X copper ink. So I'm using all kinds of different art supplies. So I do lots of layering on this canvas, and I love doing layering. It's a shame you can't see any of the collage, but sometimes that's how it goes. So now I'm stenciling some leaves on the canvas here. Am I just using the white? I think I'm just using the white there, the acrylic titanium white. I've stenciled some moons and circles. And I'm just using different sizes of stencils to stencil the leaves. I get a bit obsessive with those moons because I'm not really happy with them. They're putting me off my stride. I don't really know why they're there. I don't know what to do with them. And I just carry on using more and more pastels in different yellows, and I go over and over them. But they don't last. Spraying some water on the pastels now. What am I doing now? Oh, I'm going to do some more mark making now with the black acrylic paint. So I've got some dots and some corrugated card and my ever favourite piece of card with the embroidery thread. Really love the marks that this makes. I have just recently put some new thread on there because there was so much paint on it. It wasn't really giving me the marks that I wanted. But it's very easy just to wind a bit of thread around a piece of card to get some lovely patterns and marks. I'm using, I think this is a plastic top that I'm using here to make some circles. It goes through many different stages, this painting. It changes quite a lot. And all the way through, I'm trying to create a balance between the light and the dark. I think I'm using the dots there. So now I'm going to use my branches stencils, and with the Distress gel paste. I love this paste. It's lovely. It works really, really well. It's quite expensive for a small pot, but I feel it's well worth it. I have tried a few that haven't worked as well as this one. And I don't know if you saw my last video, but if you did, I do sometimes make my own paste with baking powder and gesso, or white acrylic paint, which works really well. But on this canvas, I thought it was best if I used the proper stuff. So it just makes some lovely stenciling marks and shows up really well. There I am again, being a bit obsessive with those moons, not knowing exactly what to do with them. And I tried spraying some of the lemon zest and peony blush dilution spray, but the spaces on this branch stencil are too narrow and it didn't work. So I think, no, that's no good, that's not going to work. So I just spray a bit of peony blush on the canvas itself. Now I'm using some Gathered Twigs distress ink pad, and I'm just using a small brush there to after I've sprayed a little bit of water on there, just using it like paint to paint on the branches, just trying to make them stand out a bit. But they normally do pick up paint anyway, as you're working. So here I go, starting with my leaf stenciling at the bottom of the canvas. I go through, I don't know how many leaves I stencil, must be hundreds by the time I get to the end, because I really am trying to create some depth. So here I'm using different shades of yellow and green. So I have a cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, viridian green, and hooker's green there. So again, I'm using the dark and the lights. That's a larger stencil I've got there. I really like how that's progressing with the leaves. So now I've got some of the abstract paints in the turquoise, the light violet and a white, and I'm using what I call my snow stencil. I love this stencil because it's got small, large and small circles on it, which I like to use as snow. So this canvas actually goes through all 4 seasons. Here it's winter. The leaves have fallen, so that's kind of autumnal, but they are green, so it could be spring. And at the end, I think I end up with summer. So I cover all bases here, all 4 seasons. And this stenciling of my snow stencil here, it's the beginning of the end for those moons. They had to go. They were putting me off. So this is my willow leaf stencil that I'm using there. using more greens. And then I use darker colours then to go on the top. So I'm using a darker violet, which is an Arteza make, and I'm using also the light English red, which is an abstract make. So alternating the darks and the lights. So after I'd stenciled those darker leaves, I did leave it for about a month because I didn't know what to do, how to actually go over the moons. And one day I just decided, well, I'm just going to put a big circle and make a big sun. So that's what I did. So I just made the circle with some white acrylic paint, and this is the white mixed with some yellow ochre. And then I think I must have added some more yellow ochre on there because it's much darker now. And I used one of my jelly prints and cut out 3 spirals. I love my spirals. And I really like the way that sun is looking now. I want the sun to sit in the background, so it's not going to stay as it is. I wanted the sun to shine through somehow. Then I do like to work in 3s, so I've got one spiral there, and then I've got one down the bottom of the canvas there. So for some, I don't know, I'm not quite sure why I decided to lighten up the sun. I'm adding some of the blush tint on there now, the abstract blush tint. And kind of, when I looked back at it, I thought I could have actually left it with the yellow ochre. But anyway, at this point, I took a photo here because I'd worked on it off camera. I'd stenciled some branches on the sun, and I've also sprayed some of the peony blush on there as well. But I wasn't too keen. I didn't quite know why, but it didn't look right to me, and the colours seemed to have gone a bit dark. So the next thing I decided to do was I decided to lighten it up. So yet again, I'm going from dark to light and light to dark. So now I decided that I would paint that spiral with the white acrylic. Not sure that was a good idea, but it doesn't really matter. And after I'd painted the spiral, I did stencil more of the leaves in the white at the bottom, just to brighten it up a bit. I think the branches on the sun there, they just didn't look like a tree. They just looked as though they'd been stuck on the sun. I thought maybe I could improve it by dabbing some different shades of green on the branches. I do splatter a little bit as well. I mixed the hooker's green, the Viridian, and with some white. But I still wasn't happy. It still didn't feel right. But I'm having fun anyway. I just love all the processes. And you have to kind of push through, don't you, so that you get to a place where you are happy. Here I'm using some of the green to add more stenciled leaves at the bottom. If I don't achieve depth in this painting at the end. I don't know what to do. So I took another picture here just to show you how the white spiral looked there. I'm quite impressed actually. It looks a little bit 3D. I wasn't expecting that, but that didn't work either. The spiral looks as though it's kind of hanging in the air there. So I leave it then and I go back to it. So what am I doing now? Yeah, I did get a little bit frustrated at that point, and in my frustration I did spray the sun and the branches and the leaves, the greenery there, with the white dilution spray. I absolutely covered it, and I completely lost my tree in more ways than one. So, but as time went on, actually, it wasn't too bad because the white does dissolve into the background, so you do still see a little bit of the colour. So what I decided to do then was I thought, okay, I'm going to stencil a forest now. So I added a little bit of the cerulean blue to the greens so that I could get different shades. And I went a little bit over the top and a bit obsessive with stenciling the trees until it got to a point where it was a little bit overwhelming. So I'm just carrying on stenciling. I am loving the colours, because I mix all the colours together kind of randomly, and it does look nice, but I end up using too much of the dark green, and that becomes overpowering on the canvas, and all you can see is dark green really. There we go. So it's just all too much now. So once again, I've taken some white acrylic and some of my stamps, and I'm putting some white marks on there to try and bring a little bit of the light back in. So I decide that I will leave the trees for the time being. I just need to get away from them. So I decided that I would make a nest for the birds. So I went to my little scrap pot and got out some bits of gauze. A couple of them, I painted that one in the dark violet, and I've painted one or two in the dark green. There's cotton and twine and string there. There's a little bit of Welsh text and a little bit of music, because this is, I wanted to put some personal things down, things that were important to me. There's some book binding there as well from an old book that I'd altered, and this is a map of my local area. So these are the things that were important to me, and I thought it would be nice. This is just a picture of all the bits put together as a nest. I really like that, and I'm gluing them all down. You can't really see, by the end of the painting, you can still see that there's texture, but you can't really see a lot of the bits and pieces. But that doesn't matter because I know that they're there. And that's the important thing. So I was pleased I did that. So now I'm ready to go back to these trees. So I decide that I'm going to stencil lots of leaves. So here I'm using the light violet. And then I mix some raspberry red, some dark violet I think, and the Payne's grey, and make lots of different shades. So now this is definitely reminding me of autumn, because I'm seeing raspberries and blackberries and blueberries, all autumnal fruits. So the main focus is the window there, I have called this painting The Window of My Soul. And what I was trying to do there was I stenciled a window effect stencil that I have, and throughout the painting I was spraying it with turquoise and the peony blush, a little bit of the lemon zest and lots of white. So I was doing that throughout the painting, trying to make it stand out and be a shining light, in the middle of all of nature, and a window to look out onto all this abundance and beauty around me. So now I think we're heading for summer now. I did stencil the trees again, and I was super happy with how they turned out. I just used the white dilution spray on the stencils, and they turned out lovely. So super happy with those. And I didn't overdo it. I just did 3 trees. As I said, I do like my 3s. It's a good number. So for my summer flowers, I'm using all different colours. I've got lemons and oranges. I've got reds and pinks and the violets. I've got the greens. So I'm stenciling with my flower stencils and plants and leaves and grass and all kinds. So I'm coming to the end of it now. And when the painting's finished, it does actually make me smile, because I do love all the colours. And I'm so happy that I got through all the struggles with it, and I ended up with a painting that I do love. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and that you've been inspired to maybe do some painting of your own. So here it is, the finished painting, The Window of My Soul. So thank you so much for watching and being here with me today. A special thank you to Kristen and Val and Jennifer and Robin. Robin, I hope you're enjoying your cup of tea, and Helen, because you always leave me lovely comments. And if I've forgotten anybody who often comments, then apologies, but thank you so much. So thank you for the likes and the shares, and to all my subscribers, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for subscribing. And if you do enjoy my videos and you find yourself coming back, then I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. That would help me so much to grow my channel. So thank you once again, everybody. I send you lots of love. Please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. I'm back. Just a quick note. I wanted to let you know that I did a test live stream this evening. I did manage to get online. I was on there for about 15-20 minutes, but I had this awful kind of hissing feedback noise the whole time. So I'm going to have to figure out what that was, and I will try again at some point in the future. Okay, everyone, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.